started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Altamont ZBA meeting. Exits are there, and in the back. For the record, both the audio and video portions of this meeting are being recorded. My name is Deborah Hex. I'm the ZBA chair. At this point, I would like each zoning board member to introduce themselves. We do have two alternates sitting up here with us tonight. However, we do have a quorum, so they will not be voting. But Laurie, start with you.
Lori Penzi.
Charles Trout.
Simon Litton.
Attorney Hyde Clark. James Sullivan.
Bob Freeman.
Thank you, guys. We also have representing the village tonight, Ginger Handa, our ZBA secretary, Tressa Matulowicz, our village board liaison, Gary Goss, our building inspector and code enforcer, and Jeff Muller, our superintendent of public works. At this time, I would just like to take one moment to thank Jeff for all of his dedication to the village and for coming to our meetings. Jeff will be retiring soon, and we will certainly miss him. So good luck, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Okay, without further ado, this is not a public hearing, so there will not be an opportunity for the public to speak tonight. We will be reviewing our latest updates from CM Fox, as well as further recommendations and comments from our village engineer, Brad Grant. Okay, so I think, Ro, if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is start with Brad's questions from 2 months ago and your answers. And if there's anything that anyone needs any more clarification on that, we can, Ro can provide that. So number one with Brad was confirm intentions with ZBA for providing pedestrian accommodations, sufficient escrow for sidewalks, providing a constructed sidewalk on West Cohary Plank, which I don't believe, we can get back to that, but I think we're putting it into an escrow as opposed to a sidewalk on West Cohary Plank. We recommend crosswalk across from the westerly end of West Cohary Plank be constructed, whether a sidewalk is constructed or just escrow to enable to improve connection to sidewalk across Western Avenue as discussed from our site visit. And the answer to that from CM Fox was the village shall decide how to allocate the escrowed amount. So I think last I've heard is that any sidewalk monies will be put into escrow to further extend existing sidewalks. So if we had $1,000 in escrow from this account, that's just a random number, we could use that $1,000 to extend the sidewalk from Sunset as far as we could go down Maple. It's just that type of idea that we have. Anybody have any questions on that on the board? Okay, applicants shall submit a draft maintenance agreements regarding common driveway maintenance, snow removal, etc. Draft maintenances are in progress, and I think the next time they're still not there, right? Okay. Confirm the village is interested in posting a lower speed limit on West Cohary Plank, such as 10 miles an hour. Given the existing width and nature of a dead-end road, reducing the speed limit of this section of West Cohary Plank would prove negligible. I think what you're saying there is you have to go slow down that road anyway, and, okay. I would like to put that before the board and use it to lower the speed limit throughout the village. I saw in Peter Barber's address that he's looking into lowering the speed limit to 25 within the town. I think it would be a good opportunity to lower the speed limit within the village streets as well. So, I would like to maybe Tressa take that up with the village board, consider lowering the speed limit throughout the village on village streets. Okay, confirm a basement is not proposed for Lot 1 due to proximity to wetland. A basement is proposed for Lot 1. Final floor elevation of the proposed house will take into consideration existing conditions. Now, I know there was one home that there was no basement planned. Is that one? Yeah.
That's correct. Lot 1, originally it was requested that there be no basement constructed. The client would like to revisit that, given there is technically no wetland in that area. So proper construction procedure, we could provide that there be no impacts to the area, as well as the basement to be constructed there.
And so why was that listed as an item in the first place? What made someone think that there would be no basement because it's wet?
During the site visit with Brad here, it's a field, so there were areas of wet vegetation. We had discussed potentially no basement there. Again, the client would like to revisit just for the purpose of building a basement for a prospective buyer of that
And the
lot.
client, you mean CM Fox?
CM Fox, correct.
Okay. Anybody have anything on that? That's one. No? Okay.
Yeah, this is a question out of my ignorance. If there was a wetland there, why would that preclude a basement?
Good question.
It is a good question. It wouldn't. We would generally have to show impacts depending on which facility regulates that wetland. Given that there aren't any, that's why we're proposing that there will be, given,
So that isn't like a construction project, that if you build a cellar in a wetland, then it would always be wet.
correct.
All right, it's strictly a regulatory concern, not a construction concern from your standpoint.
Correct.
5, landscaping plan seems minimal with quantity and only 3 varieties. It does not provide screening trees or shrubs. See sheet 130, layout, utilities, and landscaping plan for a revamped landscaping plan. So if we want to take a look at that, and see if there's anything, did Brad? It's kind of hard to coordinate.
Well, the latest one shows a lot more
It does.
trees.
Yeah, it does. I'm just seeing if Brad had any. No, he didn't have any comments on that. Oh, yeah, he did. Add notes to retain existing trees to provide screening and minimize area of disturbance. Applies to all lots. We recommend new perennial shrubs within West Cohary plant driveway easement adjacent to the westerly and easterly homes. Nannyberry shrubs would be too large. All right, so is that what's being proposed?
There are nannyberry bushes proposed along the Scarehary Plank entrance there. Brad would like to see a different sort of vegetation just because of the potential growth, which we're open to. All plantings that are on, I believe, C-130, those are all spec'd from the New York State DEC website for Region 4. So they're all can be found in this area and would grow accordingly to the existing conditions on the site.
Yes, I have some further comment
Okay,
on that.
good,
But
yeah.
when do you want that
We're there.
discussed? Okay. At the last meeting we had, Chairperson Hext asked me to look into plantings, trees. What I did was to contact the Soil and Water Conservation Service, and they provided lists of native vegetation suitable for each of the soil types on the site.
Great.
And I went through their lists and came up with a shorter list of plantings that would, according to those lists, be suitable for each of the soil types, and I can give that to you.
That would be
That's-
great.
That's that's, you know, it would simplify knowing where to put them.
Absolutely.
Because each of those could go anywhere.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Simon.
Yes, thank you,
Now,
Simon.
does that include trees, you know, that are deciduous trees and, you know,
The, this, where's the list? Here is, it includes both large trees, shrubs, and medium-sized trees. Last time, I thought that that we should stick to native species. And one of the trees they had on their original list was Norway spruce. And I talked to several people about this. And the people from the Mohawk Hudson Land Conservancy said, we don't want that, but the Soil and Water Conservation Service says it's okay to put Norway spruce on. However, Norway spruce is not on the list for each of the soil type zones.
okay. My only concern is that, you know, that we have greenery or a barrier or shield all year round, not just, you know, like we talk no-cut zones and all that kind of stuff. That's fine for the summer. It doesn't give the privacy intent that, you know, I can't say we, that I would like to see for the existing homes. But thank you, Simon. If you can share that with Ro. And
Yeah,
if-
yeah.
If you want to send it to me and I can forward, or whatever you have now.
Yeah, well, what I think I should do is include the communication from Soil and Water Conservation in the record.
I agree, yes.
And this is probably, this is really suitable for anywhere in the village. So I think it's the sort of thing we should hold on to.
So-
Here's the cover letter.
Why don't we have you send that to Ginger?
Okay,
That way, that'll become officially part of our record.
all right, I will do that.
And will be included, you know, hopefully going down the line, whenever we have a meeting, that should be part of our packet, that,
Right.
you know, we can share it with.
Okay. Now, I have also made this abbreviated list of the ones that are suitable for each of the zones.
Okay.
What do you want me to do with this?
I think you should send everything that you have.
Oh, okay,
I think, you know, their communication to you and this abbreviated list, I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to have them put every single thing that they've listed on.
oh, no,
You know,
no,
so-
no, no, it's just, this seems to be a suitable list to choose from.
Yeah, no, I agree,
Thank you.
We might be able to use that in our other meetings, too.
I think so. I think it should be in the comprehensive plan. Okay.
Thank you for that,
I
Simon.
will electronically communicate that with Ginger. Is that what you would prefer?
Either one, you can either give me a hard copy and I can make a, scan of it, or you can give me, you can send it.
I'll electronically send it.
Okay, so is everybody okay with that now? I guess, yes, I see the difference too. The landscaping plan on this, version of the plan definitely is more involved than what it was. Okay, and clean, sheet 130 has been updated. We assume no exterior lighting is proposed further than 40 feet from the house on larger lots over 1 acre. And any proposed lighting should go through village building inspector for review. Comply with all village and New York State building codes. The assumption is correct. Any proposed lighting further than 40 feet from the house will undergo review from the village building inspector. Is it 40, Gary? The light trespass, is it 40 feet from the property? I can't remember either. I thought it was, although this is saying 40 feet from the house, but I believe our code says from the property line. Light trespass shouldn't go past the property line. So anyway, all right, well, I can look into that.
That,
I mean, I think what they're trying to say there is if you have a 5,000 watt spotlight on your backyard that's shining into, whether it's the neighbors that are currently there or your other neighbors at night, every time, a rabbit runs by or something, that's what we're trying to address there, I think. Project detailing for driveways, able to support fire apparatus and drainage at driveways need additional information. And I think Brad on his other one, on his newest one, said something about, and Note 11 mentions driveway construction for 50,000-pound fire truck. Plans need to indicate what driveways or portions thereof this applies to regardless of length. It still does not. Lot 2 is more than 500 feet from Western Avenue. Previously shown truck turnaround areas are no longer shown.
So the truck turnarounds were actually never shown on page C110, the subdivision plan. They can be found on C130, which does show the truck turnaround, as well as, I believe, C500, which has the driveway profiles to show the material to handle the fire apparatus for those driveways longer than 500 feet in length.
Can you show that on, please? Because I know we had a further comment on that. Do you want to take a look at that, Paul?
I did.
Sheet C110 is primarily used to show proposed parcel lines as well as easement areas, lot areas as well. Sorry, this isn't working out too well.
I know, it's hard to get to.
Page C130 for the driveway, the common drive off of Schoharie Plank Road, just above the SBL of the lot to the west, there is a leader for a 20 by 50 foot turnaround, which is shown in the common area within the easement for the 4 houses off of Schoharie Plank Road. And for the houses off of Western, the note is actually within Lot 3 for the same dimension-sized shared.
The 20, right there, I see that, okay.
The cross-sections for the driveway material sorry, board.
Looks like what? Oh.
Thank you.
One's gonna be-
Page C300.
this is the single-
Shows the driveway cross-sections, as well as the material proposed for the driveways. Brad would like to see a larger subbase.
Okay, you saw that note?
That's
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. All right, back here. Okay, so you had landscaping title, you did that. Sewer notes number 4 indicates a check valve in the basement, while plans and details indicate exterior grinder pump installation. The pump typically has an integral check valve inside the pump station, and use of the E1 lateral kit comes with another check valve at the cover box. Redundant check valves help ensure pump sewage does not back into the houses if one fails. Please clarify inside or exterior installations. And you say, please refer to C002 notes, sewer notes number 4 for clarification of check valve location.
That's right, they're external check valves. And I believe Brad has another note
Okay.
regarding that, and we will handle that on the next set of
Okay.
plans that we
All right.
submit.
Okay. And is each home going to have a grinder pump?
That's right,
And they'll all be located outside?
correct.
Underwater notes, please reword note 4 regarding that expansion of the work area is within project property limits by 10 feet from adjacent properties to ensure retention of existing vegetation. Please refer to sheet 002, notes, water note number 4 for clarification of expansion of work area. Number 4. Now, one thing I had questioned is use of existing manholes or utility. Is that for both stormwater and sewer?
Short answer, yes. The sanitary utilities will be connecting into 2 existing structures, one on Western, one on Schoharie Plank Road. They're shown on page, or sheet C100, as well as our proposed connections, which I believe is on C320. The existing storm structure, the only one that we'll be utilizing is along Schoharie Plank Road. It's a catch basin on the north side. And that is shown, again, on C100. The proposed construction is located on page C140 for storm utility.
So where is the storm sewer that's going to be utilized on West Schoharie Plank?
It is just east of the proposed common drive. The catch basin with a top of frame of 410.3, that is existing. That's already there. At the last meeting, we had spoke about installing 2 additional catch basins along the common drive to deal with any sort of runoff or potential pooling of water in that area, and it will be discharged to this catch basin. Shown is outfall 30 marker, which is across further south on Schoharie Plank Road. That is the outlet, which at the time of the survey, we located the marker, but we couldn't find the actual outlet of the pipe. It's buried. So the location of the marker is exact, but the actual outlet of the pipe is within that vicinity.
I know there is one storm sewer, and it's just past it's in between Fox and, who's the other person? I can't think of her name. But whenever I've walked by, whether there's water running or not, that is gurgling.
Yes, I've seen it.
And it's in between Katz and Fox, and
Yeah, there's a residence sump pump that comes out just below grade there. We've gotten a few calls of people walking and think it's a water main break.
so I'm worried that that is the one that they're going to discharge everything into, and I can tell you right now, it's not gonna handle it.
It's not.
That's not even, no, that's,
It's not the same one?
no.
All right.
I know the one you're speaking of, and that's actually further west along
Okay.
Cahary Plank Road. This catch basin is just at the opening of the parcel
Okay.
to the east. And I believe there's one invert that I believe is coming from the residential house there to the east, and there's one outlet pipe that drains across the street.
So it's draining into the creek?
Correct.
You okay with that?
Yep.
We can handle it? Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? I mean, going by there on days that it's not even a lot of rain and that creek is up. I just have concerns about draining more into that creek. It comes down from the hill, and it's just a little concern, but, if there's something we can do to waylay that water somewhere else other than into that creek, personally, I think if it's done correctly, and we have enough catch basins and water gardens and things, it might help improve the water in that area.
And that's our goal, especially speaking with the TDE there, that we believe we've added enough provisions that it'll actually increase the quality of runoff in that area with the catch basins, with proper grading, as well as these catch basins added along there, that you'll see an increased, a level of increased,
Permeability.
yes, along there.
Good, okay. Sorry, all right. Sheet C20 erosion and sediment control plan, what are the geotechnical engineer recommendations mentioned in note 4 of construction sequence? Did you answer that one?
Wait, where are you?
I don't know. Where are you? I am, sewer notes 4, please refer, okay, that, under property 10 foot from adjacent, we did that. So I'm on, C120, on his note 11 mentions, and then what are so I'm on,
Did I get that page?
well, we're on Brad's initial ones and the
Oh,
answers.
I see. You're on Brad's initial.
Yeah, and then their
I
answers.
think we're on this thing here.
Oh,
Highlighted.
okay.
Here, you can share that.
All right, so, their answer was a geotechnical engineer shall be consulted and only if areas of significant material fields were present on site as designed, no areas are present on site. Label all proposed contours. Please refer to sheet C 140 grading and drainage for updated contours. Good.
Yeah, no, okay.
Anybody have any questions on that one? C-140. All right, label all, okay, indicate proposed drainage swale end elevations at north and south ends adjacent to Marion Court property lines. Northerly channels need a weir elevation to discharge. Please refer to sheet 140, grading and drainage plan for information on drainage swale elevations. I'm wondering if, instead of going through it this way, if I should go to Brad's newest ones. What does everybody think about that?
I have a question that's sort of related to this, which is that the DEC documentation and stormwater management has a lot of arithmetic in it on calculating the size of swales. How did you calculate the size of the swales?
Those are all taken into consideration, the details they're spec'd in the erosion and sediment control details Those are all taken into consideration in practice, and as well as taking into consideration those calculations to not only increase the quality of water control, but to also contain any storm runoff there.
So is there some place where we could see the arithmetic that you guys have gone through to calculate those areas? Or is this done by eye? How do you do that?
It's not done by eye. Again, because this project falls underneath requiring a modified SWIP, not a full stormwater pollution prevention plan, these items are controlled by proper erosion sediment control as well as swalage there. So there really is, I won't say that there is no arithmetic, but this is laid out as to what has worked in the past for areas similar to this site.
Where is it laid out?
Page C-150, I believe, has the grading and drainage plan, as well as C-500, which shows a lot of the erosion and sediment control measures that will be used on the site. If you flip back to C-120, as well, we show the entire area of disturbance, which Simon ties back to the arithmetic there. Our numbers are well below any disturbance that would require a full SWIP. DEC requiring us to put together then a sound erosion and sediment control plan to adhere to their policies. So C-120 shows disturbance. C-140 shows the grading and drainage plan for the site with the labeled contours and the swale depths for the rain garden and the swales that are proposed are on page C-500. Yes, C-500.
When you say that you think that this project, I think I might be putting words in your mouth. I got the implication from what you said, that you thought that this project was going to increase the quality of the creek. Am I correct?
I think he increased the quality of being able to handle the runoff, the water of the creek itself.
Not the biological quality, but the hydrologic
Yes.
capacity.
Correct. Our goal is to balance the site, to try to keep it as close to what it is now with the increased impervious areas, the roof, the driveways, the proposed building. So we're really trying to balance the site and not have any negative effect on adjacent properties or the village utilities with this design.
How would we be able to measure this?
Measure it prior to anything happening? Or
Yeah.
Afterward? I don't know that we
You know,
can.
so we have a creek that's under a particular hydrologic regime. We have a certain amount of impervious surface, we have a certain quality of soil type, we have a certain kind of rainfall. Now we're going to make a change in the drainage of that creek.
Not of the creek.
Not of the creek.
Site in the creek.
Yeah, we're going to make a change of what's going into the creek, not of the creek itself.
Not of the creek itself, but of the drainage of the creek.
Right. Okay.
So we won't have any way of being able to ascertain, you know, whether this project helped or decreased the quality of the hydrologic regime of the creek unless we had some sort of, unless we had some sort of data, some sort of way of measuring what the current quality of that hydrologic regime is.
I don't know that we can do that, I know what you're saying, but I don't know if we can do that beforehand. I
Yeah.
think that would have to be something that would be said, like, all right, before, whenever it rained, this creek overflowed and our basements were flooded and blah, blah.
But I think there are other ways of assessing the hydrologic regime of a creek, or other than talking to people to see whether their basements overflow. When do you think this construction would occur? If things go as you anticipate?
During typical construction season, which would be, spring to up until the ground is frozen.
Do you think spring of this year?
I guess that's completely up to the board, depending on approvals here.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, he made a very interesting statement, and I'd just like to know whether we would have any way of knowing whether it's true.
I think we will know afterward.
I
you
don't,
know,
how, unless we know what the current hydrologic regime is?
Well, because we know what happens now when we have winter melt runoff, like, that last huge storm we had, that everybody flooded. I mean, all of Gilderland flooded, everybody flooded. And, they sent me pictures, and yeah, I get it. But, so if the next big storm comes through after the development is built, and it doesn't happen, then we know that it got improved. If everybody's underwater and we need to build an ark, then we know it didn't. I don't know how we can prove it beforehand, Simon. We know what it
No,
can
we
handle
can't
now.
prove it beforehand, but I'm just wondering if there's something we should be doing now.
Well, I think we are.
And with the initial submission, we did provide an engineering narrative as well as a modified SWIP. So I'm hoping maybe those documents can,
This?
yes.
Yes. Everybody's got this.
Yes.
Read it again, because I read it again.
You don't have it.
We might need, can you get 2 more copies? of this?
Absolutely, sure. There are calculations within there that,
Okay,
I read this again recently, and it really clarified a few things.
okay.
That-
So read this again.
that'll back up our design here.
Yeah.
We're not just throwing things on this map to make it look
I mean,
nice.
it really goes into detail, soil and everything
Yeah.
else, and, the type of soil, the type of loam, the type of, it's like,
Yeah, I thought that soil discussion was very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So, I don't want to,
Okay.
naysay you or anything, Simon. I want to make sure that, we're answering your question, or at least hoping to come up with a conclusion on what your question is afterward. If this goes forward, who knows? This might not go forward. You don't know. Can't put the cart before the horse.
Okay.
I can tell you're not happy.
I don't know what else to say.
Okay, all right, let's move on then. All right, sheet grading and drainage. During walkthrough, provision of underground stormwater chambers were discussed near the end of the swale on Lot 1 to infiltrate some runoff. Please provide 4 sections of 12-inch high PE chambers below ditch connected by graded vertical pipe 3-inch above swale. Please refer to sheet 140. So C140 here, he says, provide details of driveway, so it's the same, okay.
Those have been added. There will need to be further detail added to the next set of plans that we submit.
Based on his,
The Friday, the 23rd comment letter from Brad.
oh, yes, right, okay, that's what I thought, okay. add a 45-degree bend at sewer manhole connection that directs discharge to outlet pipe as opposed to perpendicular to flow to reduce splatter and odors. Please refer to sheet 502, utilities for detail 2. Inline flushing, dimension, size, and depth of ABS access. What is cap material and how attached? Do not glue. Please revise plans and resubmit engineer stamped plans. So you'll, next time, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Utility information with comment, please provide a profile of each driveway that considers drainage, culverts, and conveyance of runoff. Show water and sewer laterals with appropriate cover as detailed. Please refer to sheet C-150 plan and profile for utility information with common access. Did you have anything more on that one?
I think the only thing that will be added to that on the next set of plans is the location of the check valves. It was a note from Brad. We'll add that to C-130, and I think it would maybe add to it if we also put it on page C-150 as well.
I know he said something also about whether or not the stone that you're using for construction access, he didn't think that would be strong enough.
That's right. He would like to see an increase in the sub-base to further support the vehicles. I think what we had spec'd was more than enough. I don't know if the village could chime in. As far as the largest vehicle that you guys have?
Paul, chief,
Do you, approximate weight? Okay, oh, great.
now, was he speaking of emergency vehicles, or was he speaking just of construction vehicles in that note? I thought he was referring to the construction access.
Not sure if it's gonna handle the construction, it's gonna definitely handle any fire apparatus going in there,
That's right.
for sure.
So that they're kind of,
So the tanker is 27 tons,
Okay.
which probably won't go down the driveways anyways, but the other ones are about 18 tons.
Thank you.
thank you, Paul.
20 tons,
Do that math.
that's 2,000 pounds a ton,
All right, I think
that's 40,000 pounds.
I'm trying to, all right, which one is this? Okay, that's this. That's easier. All right, so we still don't know about whether Lot 1 is going to have a basement or not.
I think he clarified and said that they do intend to have one.
Well, they wanted to review it, right?
That's right. If the board would be amenable to that, we would like to propose a basement for Lot 1. There are two other lots, I believe, that we are.
Well, I mean, that'll be part of the, the subdivision discussion, that we wouldn't vote on that tonight. So,
Lot 10 and 11, we're proposing no basements to. Lot 1, Brad would like to also see no basement, but we would like to build one there.
so 10 and 11, you don't want a basement?
Correct.
And that's definite?
That was guidance from the board. Of course, we would like to build all the houses with basements, and I'm sure the purchasers would too. But we're willing to work with the board to.
Was that something from Brad? Because I don't remember us discussing
Yeah, I don't,
having no basements and,
I'll have to check on that, if that's okay, before we
yeah,
submit the
absolutely,
next
yeah,
set of plans.
absolutely, absolutely.
Hey, Deb, I think that was because those two lots were in the edge of the FEMA floodway.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's why they proposed the not.
That's right.
That makes sense.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. All right, I know there was, in the plans, there was a 5-foot sidewalk mentioned, and that, you know, I believe is we're really going to the escrow as opposed to, you know, putting a sidewalk along West Cohary Plank.
That's right.
I think we agreed to that last time, you know, I'm not sure we don't want any more impervious surface there, you know, with a cement sidewalk.
As well as clearing, you know, there would be a need to clear trees on that side, and I think as it is now, it's quite nice.
On the creek side?
Creek side, correct.
Why would there be a need to clear trees on that side?
If you were to add
Oh, if you-
the sidewalk.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
all right, okay. Yes, yeah, I agree with that. And Jeff, when is that due to be paved?
After this is all done.
Is it, you're going to wait? Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And is there a way to widen that a little bit, to take in the, you know, the shoulders of the road and make that a little bit,
They could probably address that at the time,
okay.
and we're trying to hold off on our paving too because of lead and copper.
Oh, okay,
We have to, excavate any of the roadways.
because it would make sense to at least clean that up and get a better shoulder in there, you know, as opposed, because it's really wider than you think it is, you know, that road, but
That's in pretty bad shape right now.
it is, it is, yeah. I saw you did some hot patches today, though.
Thank Larry for that.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, did we address all of Brad's latest comments? Provide length and width at bottom of rain gardens, which are presumably typical. Show house downspouts connected to rain gardens.
The rain gardens are shown for each lot in proposed locations. Simon, again, that's in an effort to contain any runoff from these houses. We will show the downspouts to them on the next set of plans.
Drainage of property generally runs from west to east, western towards Marion. There are still no provisions for driveway culverts or drainage swales shown on the grading plans that allow runoff conveyance or avoidance of run-on drainage from one property to another, except at lots 7 and 8. Detailed 2-foot swale depth may need to be shallower at site, as site is relatively flat. The detail needs to be applied to the plan so that the site contractor knows where they are proposed and how to grade them.
And we will take into consideration the swale depths. Again, I think it's to everyone's advantage that the site is relatively flat. Grading is minimal on site, as well as extra material that may need to be brought in or moved. But we will show those concerns on the next set of plans.
During site walkthrough, provision of underground stormwater chambers were discussed near the end of swale on lot 1 to infiltrate some runoff. Please provide 4 sections of 12-inch high PE chambers below ditch invert connected, oh, I already read this, didn't I? The plan generally notes the chambers, but the top of the chambers need to be at least 6 inches below the swale and not above the ditch invert as labeled. Indicate model number, manufacturer of chamber units, and dimension on plans regarding their extent.
We can add that to the next set of plans.
I sent this to you, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Add notes to retain existing trees, to provide screening and minimize area of disturbance. This applies to all lots. Existing note referenced in response letter could not be found.
That's actually on 2 sheets of the plan set.
The landscaping plan?
Yeah, C-130 has a note that we are going to maintain existing vegetation in 2 locations. And again, that's been a goal of ours, and why we also proposed the building activity to enter off of Western. We don't want to disturb anything that we don't have to around the site. But C-130 has a note just next to Lot 5, as well as to the north on Lot 6, to maintain maintain the existing vegetative buffer, as well as, I believe it's sheet C-140. Yes, sheet C-140 as well. We can certainly add that note in more detail, somewhere a little bit more clear.
I mean, it is pretty clear, but yeah, I mean, the clearer the better, I guess. Provisions, we recommend new perennial shrubs. Simon's handling that. Where are provisions of drainage for low area west of West Cohary Plank driveways and connection existing catch basin discussed during walkthrough. We recommend 20 to 30 feet length to a 12-inch inlet flared end section to drain the existing low point discussed during our walkthrough and connect it to CB on west side of West Cohary Plank driveway, label catch basin, rim and invert elevations, pipe sizes, and pipe slopes, and that are shown.
We will add those to
Next
the,
time, yeah.
yep, to the next set of plans.
Provide detail of driveway showing crown subgrade materials, depth, compaction, and all needed to construct, support 50,000-pound fire truck. As shown, the proposed subbase is only 6 inches in depth with no soil separation, geotextile. We recommend 10 to 12-inch subbase course where fire trucks might access.
We will certainly take that into consideration. I think we just heard, the largest apparatus won't be entering those driveways. 12 inches is hefty for common driveway access, but we will definitely take that into consideration.
Profiles of each driveway are provided but does not show culverts where swales lead to, away from, that considers drainage, culverts, and conveyance of runoff. Show driveway culverts next time.
That's right. They actually are on the driveway cross-sections, but we will add them to the grading and drainage plan.
All right, I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask or think should be added to the existing plans? Needs clarification?
Just a question about the rain gardens.
Yes.
You had mentioned that it's planned to have the downspouts directed to them. Will all downspouts be directed to it?
That's the goal. Again, the need for gutters typically is up to the home purchaser because it's an added expense onto building the house. We would like to direct all of the gutters to these rain gardens. Not to mean that we won't construct these rain gardens on each lot, but I think it would be maybe up to the purchaser to direct it to them. That's the goal in providing
I would
increased.
think that if the homeowner decided not to put a gutter, then it kind of defeats the whole purpose
Of the
of
rain
asking for rain
Rain
gardens.
gardens, yeah. But, I mean, honestly, this day and age, I can't imagine anybody not wanting rain gutters. And if they don't have gutters, it's just going to go into their own property. It's not going to go anywhere else. It's just going to flow off the roof and into their basement sooner or later. I mean, I agree with you, though. I mean, we can't force, someone to put gutters up.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Well, the builder could just put gutters on the house.
They could. Whether or not that would be something we could require, I don't know. What do you think, Gary?
I mean, it would be up to the board to require them to put drainage pipes in a corner of the houses that go to the rain gardens. And then the homeowner puts the gutters in, obviously they'll go into those drainage pipes.
Well, that's something to consider, is whether or not, can we require that height?
Certainly the rain garden itself, but I'm not sure about the
Gutters.
gutters, yeah. It's more of a specific build design as opposed to site plan.
We talked a bit about maintenance of the rain gardens. I really don't understand how that would happen. These are on individual property. It's not on village, it would not be on village property, but we're thinking that these are really an important feature of maintaining the hydrologic quality of the creek. So it's a sort of an odd position that we're in, where we're saying you have to have rain gardens, but then on the other hand, you don't have to actually have the plumbing to connect them. It sort of leaves the creek somewhat unprotected.
How would, let me phrase this correctly. How would that leave the creek unprotected just by not having rain gardens? Is it because you think the groundwater then would just flow into the,
Brad I think Brad thinks that rain gardens are something that should be in the plan. So if the engineer thinks that this is an important part of the project, then they ought to function.
I agree.
But on the other hand, we're saying, but the homeowner doesn't really have to connect them to their runoff. It's a sort of a.
Could they be useful without gutters?
They certainly are. And the way that they'll be constructed, they are in low-lying areas of the lot. So the intention is to have any potential runoff pitched towards those areas.
I see.
So they would function without
Oh, okay.
the use of gutters.
All
But having gutters lead to them certainly would increase the productivity of them.
So let me ask, though, when you say the houses with gutters, I mean, I see Lot 5, Lot 6, say in that area, you're going to have a system that runs all the way over there to that particular?
They're actually independent, and I believe if you look at.
Okay, I get what you're saying, because essentially, it is just basically the way this is graded, that this is going to be the cutoff and the barrier that's going to take.
That's right.
Okay, so like the gutters on a house, if somebody decided they didn't want it, it's their own problem. I mean, like you said, eventually it's gonna wind up in their basement.
Right.
But I mean, with the way that they have it graded in the direction that I'm seeing anyway, that, you know, the rain gardens as they exist, you know, should catch whatever, and then whatever comes off the front's going to the basins.
That's right.
Can you comment on the maintenance of these controls that you're putting in?
No, that is a good point. We're hoping to cover that in the maintenance agreements. That is out of my realm. It's in the legal territory. So that is being put together. Given if it's maintained individually by each homeowner, that's our goal. I'm sure that the village would not like to go out and you know, cut anyone's grass for you know, once a month or what is whatever what have you. It's really it's to the benefit of the homeowner to also maintain these items. Like you said, Chairperson Hext, you know, it's going to aid them much more if it's being used and maintained than if it's just, you know, overgrown and installed there.
It's something monthly to It would have to be taken care of?
You know, it's, I guess that's weather dependent, you know, generally they're not being silted in. The type of grass that we had spec'd, which we added to the details there, seed mix B is a DOT spec generally used for high traffic areas. Its root structure is that it's very used to the environment that we would be introducing it into, high sun, which most of it is, it's a field now, as well as being able to handle high loads of water. So it's a relatively low maintenance grass that we're proposing. But again, we can iron that out in the maintenance agreement as to how often these items will need to be maintained.
Anybody? Chuck, Lori, I mean, you can still ask questions. Anybody else? Jeff, anybody have any questions? Tressa? Gary?
So Deb, going back to the fire trucks, biggest one we probably had is the truck 29 from Gilmore. And they said that's about 90,000 pounds loaded. And the outriggers go out 15 feet, 8 inches. So that's the
15-foot, okay.
Now, that's a good point. You never know if we're gonna need mutual aid. We're just talking Altamont, but, yeah.
Thank you.
probably the biggest piece we would have to get down there.
Okay, and is that a ladder truck
That's a
or?
ladder truck.
Okay,
And when you say down there, you mean on West Cohary Plank, or you mean to
Either
develop?
West Harry or off of West.
Okay. Could you email that to us, Paul, so that I can share it with Brad? Just so that we keep the lines of communication open with everyone. Okay, anybody have anything else for Ro? How's the baby?
baby's great,
Yeah.
yeah. We haven't slept since before Christmas, but baby is good.
I'm
Thank
sure.
you.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Oh, and if it's okay with the board, we were,
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
we were wondering with Brad's last request on his latest comment letter for stamp plans, if the board would be willing to open this to the public with the next submission. That's just a request that we have.
How does everybody feel about making it a public hearing the next time?
So,
Are we satisfied enough with the answers from Brad, you know?
just a comment for thought. I think a lot of the outstanding things have to do more with notes and details as opposed to layout, so. I don't know, I think the layout's in such a state that you potentially could have public comments if the board was comfortable. Just because I think a lot of Brad's comments are getting down to very,
Detail, yeah.
detail oriented.
Yeah.
So, but that's up, up to the board if you feel like there's more things you would like to see before setting that.
What is everybody, well, we probably should make a motion on that then.
We can have discussion first. But.
Just, I'm out of town from March 8th to March 26th. I get back on the day of the meeting. And so there's public, there's notifications that have to go out, there's a legal notice and all that kind of stuff. So that someone else would have to take that responsibility to make that happen if you want to have that happen.
Yeah, someone else would have to do that. I mean, we can't hold the client up, just because we might not have somebody else to do that.
And you're suggesting you'll have the revised plans prior to that?
That's right, for this next, for the March meeting, which I believe Is that the 15th?
26th.
26th, is it?
26th.
Okay,
March
so,
26th,
so the plans would be in by
oh, by
the,
15th,
or the 12th, is it?
14
2 weeks
days.
prior.
There's, Tuesday prior, right?
That's,
14 days before, right?
Right.
that's our goal, would be to have the next set of comments, commented plans submitted to you, as well as a comment response letter and the draft maintenance agreements for the easement areas.
And when do you leave, Ginger? I'm sorry.
March 8th, I'm out of the office starting March 8th.
So then someone else would have to get that posted to the website and available to the public before our next meeting.
Which can be Jenny, because we're also in collection, so, I don't know what period it is.
I mean, we can draft, so just having to get posted.
I don't know,
I don't think that should be the reason for not doing it.
I don't either.
So,
We'll have to figure it out. If I have to do it, maybe I can do it. I got nothing else to do. Well, yeah. So do we need to have a motion to hold
Yeah.
a public hearing?
I guess just if there's any board discussion on whether or not anyone feels like there's more you would like to see prior to opening it up.
What does everybody feel? Do we need any more information before we hold the public hearing? And don't forget, we're not making a decision that night. We can keep the public hearing open. We can, there's going to be other questions from the public that'll have to be answered. So it's not like we held the public hearing and we make a decision. That's not the way it works.
I'm comfortable with it. It seems like a lot of the details are kind of the minutia of it that don't affect the large-scale project.
Would be a motion.
Okay, then, could I have a motion then to schedule a public hearing on the CM Fox subdivision on Tuesday, March 26th at 7 PM?
So moved?
Second?
I'll second it.
that.
Did you get that, Ginger?
So that was James?
James and Simon, yep. Okay, roll call, and we're not having the alternates vote tonight because we do have a quorum.
Okay, so, board member Linton,
Approved.
okay, board member Sullivan,
Approved?
board member Freeman,
Approved.
chairperson Heck.
Approved. Do we have a quorum? Wait. No, we don't have, we only have 4, right?
Yeah,
Boards,
Yeah.
7,
Yeah, 5.
1 past 4 or 3. So,
Okay, so we're good.
yeah,
All right, we're good.
you,
All
four votes in the affirmative.
Right, okay, yeah, we're good. Never mind. Okay, all right, so then we're scheduling a public hearing on March 6th at 7 PM. And the applicant agrees to have everything in here by the March 14th in order for us to get it posted.
And we can certainly, oh, I'm sorry.
14 days before that would be the 12th, but I don't know.
The 12th.
Look at your calendar, 12th.
And Ginger, if it helps any, we can certainly try to get it in before, you said you leave on the 8th?
Yeah, I'm not in the office as of the 8th.
As of the 8th, the 7th. Okay. I'm just writing that down, and, if we can get it in motion and over to you before then, we'd like to do that to alleviate any issues.
And maybe we'll have to talk to Carrie, see how she wants to handle it. If if it comes up to me, because I know it's sewer and water collection, I can come over, figure out how to do it, and I already told Patty I'd help her with that if she needed it, so. We'll figure it out. Takes a village, Ginger.
I'm sorry, what?
Takes a village.
Yes, it does.
Anybody have anything else? for Ro? No? Thank you, Ro. You're
Thank you.
Very patient.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the review of the minutes from November 28th. And I know Chuck had a couple of findings that are depicted now in green. Ginger did that instead of retyping everything. I have a lot of runoff and, yeah, I don't know what that was. And then, and you made those corrections, right? Yes. Does anybody have anything else? So Tressa, you're gonna check with the village board on perhaps thinking about lowering the speed limit throughout the village? Not to 10, but, although I would like to see that. But, you know, to consider being in, 20 or 25, yeah. I mean, you know, the town has to follow certain regulations, but a village can make the speed limit whatever they want. And when I first moved here, the speed limit in the village was 20. State and county, they have to go by a specific, you know, 30, 40, 45, but a village can set their own speed limits. Right, just within the village streets, right. And as far as a crosswalk or anything concerned, 397 is a state road, right? On Western? So that would have to be the state that would have to do a crosswalk if we considered a crosswalk there. Okay, so if no one has anything else on minutes, sorry, I digress there. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Anybody?
I'll approve.
You make the motion. Second, please?
Second?
James? Roll call, please.
Board Member Litton,
Approved?
Board Member Sullivan,
Approved.
Board Member Freeman,
Approved.
Chairperson Hess,
Approved.
thank you.
Okay, and could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion.
That's always a quick one. Second?
Second.
Okay, yeah, I'll second that.
Well, is it James that is up or
Simon.
Roll call.
Okay, so Board Member Litton,
Approved.
Board Member Sullivan,
Approved.
Board Member Freeman,
Approved.
and Chairperson.
In favor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry, Paul, Jeff. Thank you, everyone. Do you want?
I think I have them backed
Okay.
up as my, for some reason, it didn't.
Could